absolutely deliberate. Everything you do is calculated, intricate. Venom dressed in velvet, that's the move. Got me wanting more of what I know I shouldn't choose. Still choosing, still staying, knowing full well what this game is playing. Venom dressed in velvet, sweet and sharp. Venom dressed in velvet, hit the mark, knew the risk, chose it anyway. Venom dressed in velvet, here to stay. Thought I had the footing when I stepped in. Solid ground beneath me where I'd always been. One step further than I planned to go. Surface looked like something stable, but it wasn't so. Moving closer, thinking I can handle this. Something underneath gave way. Now I'm in the midst of something that the more I move, the deeper it takes me down. Quicksand doesn't make a sound until you're in the ground. Tried the rational approach and tried the logical. The more I thought about it, got more biological. Instinct taking over where the thinking used to live. Quicksand takes a little more than you intend to give.
Deeper
with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to find the solid edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then completely. Quicksand works so discreetly. Down and in and further still. Quicksand bends the strongest will. Comfortable became the danger sign. Felt so natural crossing every line that I drawn before you entered the equation. Quicksand is the name for this sensation. I was turning something unaccounted for. Plans dissolved and left me wanting more of the feeling of the ground beneath giving way. Quicksand made me wanna stay. Tried to reconstruct the version of me standing clear. Couldn't find the man who walked in here. Something in the sinking felt like home. Quicksand is the warmest place I've known. Deeper with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to find a solid edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then completely. Quicksand works so discreetly. Down and in and further still. Quicksand bends the strong. Yeah, let me tell you what the quicksand really is. It's not the trap, it's not the danger, it's the bliss of finding something that you didn't know you needed. Standing on a solid ground, you should've heeded, but didn't, because the pool was too specific. Something in the way you move too scientific for me to just ignore and walk away clean. Quicksand is the best place I've ever been. Base beneath me matching every inch I sink. Red fire in the blood and blue current in the link between the man I was before and what I found. Quicksand pulled me down into the most solid ground. Deeper with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to find a solid edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then completely. Quicksand works so discreetly. Down and in and further still. Quicksand bends the strong. Still sinking, still staying. Quicksand is the only place worth weighing. Down and in, deeper still. Quicksand always will. Soft and warm, can't get out. Quicksand, that's what this is about.
尻尾笑える配信やそれ私の尻尾ちゃうな。重いのは重いのか。もはや配信レベルや。ゲームばっかりやってる。
Staying centuries. Lost in you before I crossed the century. At the border of the south, I thought I knew. Turns out that border was the point of view, and point of view was just the first thing lost. When something's worth the price it's going to cost. Lost in you, found something new. Somewhere
好きなんだよねこれあ取られた
to a version of the night we're staying in. Lost in you is where the real things begin. Face so low, we replace the need for bearing. Lost in the particular way you're wearing. Got my sense of where I end and you begin. Lost in you, and I would do it all again. Navigation is a tool for those who know exactly where they're headed and the way to go. Lost is just a name for when the destination stops mattering less than the sensation of being somewhere real without a map, of falling into something with no gap between the wanting and the having of the thing. Lost in you is what the low end brings. Space beneath me running like a river wide, red current in the blood and blue fire inside the part of me that used to need a reason. Lost in you became my favorite season. Trying to get lost into a kind of home. Found the thing I needed when I stopped the roam. Of the careful man who measured every mile. Lost in you is always worth the while. Lost in you, found something new. Somewhere in the getting lost, I broke on through to a version of the night we're staying in. Lost in you is where the real things begin. Face so low, but replace the need for bearing. Lost in the particular way you're wearing. Down my sense of where I end and you begin. Lost in you, and I would do it all again. Still finding something in the getting lost keeps reminding. Lost in you, the best place to be. Lost in you, finally free. No map needed, no way back. Lost in you, on the right track. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time, keeping everything in line, built the wall so high, forgot the other side. Managed every entrance, managed every door, didn't let a thing in I hadn't seen before. Then something at the frequency I run on, something in the baseline that I built my walls upon. Started vibrating at a different rate, surrender wasn't planned, but it arrived on time and late. Not a white flag, not a giving up, more like finally setting down a full cup that I've been carrying since I can remember. Surrender feels like warmth in late December. Lay it down the honor piece by piece, finding in the letting go a different kind of peace. Not defeated, not diminished, not undone. Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun. Bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact. Lay it down and never picking it back. She said something in the tone I wasn't ready for, quiet and direct, and it cut straight to the core. Not an attack, more an invitation to be seen. Surrender happens somewhere in between. Her words are my resistance giving way. Longest held position chose to end that day. Not a sudden fall, more like a gradual release of the tension I've been holding for a decade at least. Not a white flag, not a giving up, more like finally setting down a full cup that I've been carrying since I can remember. Surrender feels like warmth in late December. Laying down the armor piece by piece, finding in the letting go a different kind of peace. Not defeated, not diminished, not undone. Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun. Bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact. Lay it down and never picking it back. Strong men don't surrender, that's the myth. Strongest thing I've done was go against the version of myself that held the line past the point where holding served a purpose or design. Takes more courage than the fight to finally let in what the armor kept outside has always been within. Reach for something real if I'd only move aside. Surrender is the other name for stride. Face beneath me steady like a hand extended, red current in the blood and blue fire blended into something softer than what came before. Surrender, open up a different kind of door. Not a door to weakness, door to death. Surrender is the deepest kind of breath. Taking out the years of holding in. Lay it down and finally begin. Laying down the armor piece by piece. Finding in the letting go a different kind of peace. Not defeated, not diminished, not undone. Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun. Bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact. Lay it down and never picking it back. Still laying down, still releasing. Something in the letting go keeps increasing. Surrender.
これ止まったまま
Drawn in before I knew what I was drawn to. Something in the current pulling me through. Every room I walk in leads me back to this. Drawn in by a frequency I can't dismiss. Not a choice I made with any kind of clarity. Just the pull of something moving parallel to me. Drawn in, closer than I've ever let a thing begin. Noticed it the third time in a week. Same low frequency that made my whole chest weak. In a language I don't have the words to say. Drawn into the pull of it before I found a way to resist or reroute or redirect. Something in the signal earned the kind of respect that the rational side of me couldn't override. Drawn in past the point where I could still decide. Something in the architecture shifted the sound. Pull me off the surface to below the ground. To what I thought was silent.
私みたいな子いた。違うわ。
She moved through the room without an angle showing. Didn't seem to notice what she had me knowing. Deep inside the moment that she passed me by. Drawn into the orbit of a particular kind of why. Not the obvious kind that announces its arrival. Something underneath that's focused on survival. Of the feeling of the pull of the low and thing. Drawn in by the weight that only bass can bring. Try to find the current from the outside looking. Couldn't see the line that all the while was hooking into something past the reach of what I planned. Drawn in by the thing I didn't understand. Here's what the drawn in feeling really is. Not a loss of self, more like a gift to finding something past the careful boundary of the man who kept the world at a safe country. Mile from the center of what matters most. Drawn in is the end of keeping things at coast. Level distance, safe and managed, clean and known. Drawn in is the feeling of arriving home base beneath me wide and running deep. Red current in the blood and blue fire in the keep of something worth protecting with the pull. Drawn in is the name for finally feeling full. Not completion in the innocence of things, more the resonance of what the connection brings when the frequency aligns without a plan. Drawn in is the moment it began. Drawn in before I knew what I was drawn to. Something in the current pulling me through. Every room I walk in leads me back.
成功しちゃったの。かっこみ。邪魔したかったのに。いやね。いやね。頭や、そこに頭あったとは知らんかった。あしらわれた。
さんがこんにちはと言いました。
こんにちは。 ちゃいはい
Started as a passing thought on Tuesday night. Grew into a presence that I couldn't fight. Not the dangerous kind, just the kind that stays. Living in the background of my waking days. Catch myself mid-sentence thinking another way. You said that thing you said back on a Friday. Replaying it in different light and different tone. Obsession turns a memory into a home. Try the distance, try the silence, try the cold. Try to let the whole thing just go old. What has taken root this deep? Obsession is a promise that the mind will keep. Noticed I was curating what I play, picking songs that put me somewhere close to you. Not intentional, or maybe that's not true. Maybe everything I'm doing has an angle to keep the proximity alive inside my head. Living in a version of the thing instead of facing what this weight is really saying. Obsession and devotion keep on swaying. Try the distance, try the silence, try the cold. Try to let the whole thing just go old. Nothing ages what has taken root this deep. Obsession is a promise that the mind will keep. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Search the whole city, but you're all I find. Try to put the thought somewhere it couldn't grow. Obsession doesn't ask permission when it shows. Bass turned up to drown the signal out.
あ、さっき食べられた緑の子やった。
To be cured of it tonight, I'm convinced that this is something I should fight. Some obsessions are the compass and the map, pointing to the thing you can't take back. Once you felt the weight of this specific pull, hard to settle for the ordinary fool. The days that don't include this frequency. Obsession might be just another word for need. Bass beneath me running like a thought on loop, red current in the blood and blue fire through the part of me that keeps returning to the source. Obsession, just another name for cause correction, pulling me back to where I wanna be. Not a prison, more gravity. Not a weakness, more a kind of knowing. Obsession is the seed that keeps on growing. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Search the whole city, but you're all I find. Try to put the thought somewhere it couldn't grow.
綺麗な餌だわ。うるさい。
Didn't plan on staying when I walked in. Told myself 1 hour and I call it thin. But something in the baseline changed the plan. Something in the way you moved across the room began to work on me in ways I can't explain. Like a frequency that travels through the brain. Slow at first and then impossible to shake. Something in this moment keeping me awake. Not a choice I made, more like a force supply. Something reaching in and pulling from inside. Can't locate the source, can't name the thing. Just the weight of what this low end brings. Feel the pull, feel the pull. Something in the deep end got me full of a feeling I don't have a name for yet. Closest thing to gravity I've ever met. Low and slow and working through my chest. This is not the night I go to rest. Feel the pull down into the something I can't see. Feel the pull taking what was mine and making it free. Try to
今度は頭気をつけるわ君は頭とか尻尾のあれがわからん。
Baseline hitting, put my logic out of joint. Not complaining, not attempting an escape. Just surrendering to whatever shape this thing decides to take inside the night. Somewhere between the wrong and the right. Of staying when I should've left that 10. Feel the pull and fall into it again. Low end wrapping around me like a second skin. Outside world is quiet, only this within. Red fire in the eye and blue current in the vein. Feel the pull and let it pull again. Feel the pull, feel the pull. Something in the deep end got me full of a feeling I don't have a name for yet. Closest thing to gravity I've ever met. Lone stone working through my chest. This is not the night I go to rest. Feel the pull down into the something I can't see. Feel the pull, taking what was mine and making it free. Still pulling, still holding.
さっき食べられたから食べている。
You walked in and rewired my brain. Now superstition, not a trick of the light. Something operating past the rational tonight. Logical framework gave up somewhere in the second now. Something past the thinking took a different kind of power. Not the kind you force, the kind that simply is. Spellbound is the name for nights like this. Tried to find the mechanism, find the source. Tried to map the pull and trace the course. Back to something I could understand and name. Came up empty every single time I came. Feel completely still by something moving.
あ、取った。
Can't locate the thing that keeps on proving that the world is larger than the part I see. Spellbound by the frequency. Not a word was cast, not a hand was raised. Just a low end hitting hours, days. Into something past the reach of what I know. Spellbound by the undertow. Watch the room go soft around the edges. Watch the usual markers lose their ledges. In my mind, the things I used to navigate dissolved into the pull of something great. Not a loss, more like an expansion of the territory past my current mansion. Of the self, of the known, of the understood. Spellbound feels like finally something good. Breaking through the managed and the measured. Taking all the things I always treasure.
おしっぽをしっぽしっぽ。今日3回目の配信です。どんだけやるねんって話やけど、3回ぐらい休みの日に3回ぐらいやるのは普通です。この後ゲームウルティマオンラインのもあります。
Is the answer to the call of something larger than the life you know. Spellbound is the seed that you've been sown. Base beneath me running wide and free. Red current in the blood, blue fire in me. The part of me that always kept the door cracked just enough to feel what spellbound's for. Not enchantment in the fairy tale sense, or the dropping of the last defense of a man who finally let the signal in. Spellbound is where the real things begin. Walked in armor, walked out something new. Spellbound is what happened in between the two. Not a transformation or a recognition. I was always there beyond the partition. signal cutting through the noise at its worst. Not a choice, not a decision, not a plan. More like physics running through a willing man. North and south don't ask each other's permission. Magnetic is the name for this condition. Close the distance without meaning to. Room between us disappeared on cue. Something like before a word was said. Loudest pull I felt and it's all in my head. No, it isn't every single cell. Magnetic is the only word that tells. Can't fight the pull of what I'm drawn to. Can't explain the force of what I'm drawn to. Metal to a magnet, no resistance. Closing all the space across the distance. Pulls a line before a single word. Loudest thing in here that nobody heard. Magnetic, that's the only way to say what happened the moment you walked my way. Yeah. Try to look away and look back every time. Something in the orbit pulling past the line of what I call coincidence or chance. This particular pull is its own dance. Bodies moving to the same frequency. Even in a crowd, it's only you I see. Not romantic, more like recognition. Two things drawn together by composition. Watch you from across the room, not saying much. Felt the pull before we even made a touch. Something in the wavelength of the way you stood. Magnetic felt inevitable as it should. Let me break the signs down for what it's worth. Two things with the right charge, pulling since that birth. Into the same orbit, same position, same space. Magnetic isn't something you can erase. Try the rational approach, try the logical. The pull between us wasn't philosophical. More concrete than theory, more real than thought. Magnetic is the thing that can't be taught. Grace beneath me matching every move I make. Red current in the blood for every step I take. Toward the thing that pulls without a reason. Giving magnetic is the force that keeps me driven. Toward you, toward this, toward
うわお変な声出た。やっぱ重いしこっちより重さだけどなお上手があった
One glance and not move on. Told myself the moment would be gone before it had a chance to take a whole turn. That was the biggest lie I told. Something in the way you exist in the room. Like the light bends slightly when you cross it too soon. Not performing, not aware of what you do. That's the most dangerous version of you. The way you look back right away. Something about you doesn't let me stay in the direction that I pointed my eyes. Magnetic pull beneath the simple disguise. Can't stop the eyes from finding you again. Can't stop the pull that started way back when you walked through the door and rearranged the air. Something locked on you and it's been lodged right there. Tried the ceiling, tried the floor, tried the door. Every place I look just brings me back for more. Can't look away, can't look away. Something about you owns the room today. Count it out, check the time, check the phone. The things a man does when he should have gone. I was past the moment I said I would leave. Something about staying for easier to breathe. Not a weakness, more recognition of the thing in front of me. Worth the admission, the plan I had before I walked through here.
猫書いとったら死んだ
Every place I look look away. Something about you owns the room today. Sharp detail and soft light, that's the thing. Particular way a certain presence brings the focus of a room to one specific point. Baseline hit and put the whole night out of joint. Not obsession, more like calibration. Eyes adjust to find the best location. In a room and mind adjusted long ago to the place where you are. That's the only show. Recurring in the blood and blue fire in the
このキラキラやめたいんだけどな、重いから。なんでこれ突然キラキラやってんねん。違うこれ。どれ？
おっしゃんず。
違う。なんか変なの出た。どれやねん。食感ってこれどれ？全然変わっちゃったからわかんない。
The kind of thing that rearranges all the air in the room before a single word is spoken. Something in the logic permanently broken. By the way, you carry something I can't name. Room was never quite the same after you arrived and didn't even try. Irresistible is just a reason why. Every argument I made dissolved on contact. Every wall I built came up abstract. I guess the thing that didn't need a strategy just existed at a level past my
なんかこの辺も変わっちゃったよね。あ、これか、違うか。
to resist to redirect to walk away clean. Most irresistible thing I've ever seen. Not a force, more like a fact of physics. Something operating past where logic is.
この
Tried the practical approach around midnight. Reminded myself of the reasons and the right decision being somewhere else entirely. Didn't last a minute, stated it sincerely and still stayed anyway.
これ何これ
Even felt like something permanently lost. Not a gamble, more certainty. Irresistible is just another
全然わ
word
からなくなっ
free
た
from the version of myself that always had a plan. From the calculated moves of a careful man. Something broke the pattern without asking. Irresistible arrived and kept on lasting. Is what irresistible is not. It's not manipulation. It's not a plot, not a trick deployed by someone who is clever. More like two things meant to be together. Chemistry that doesn't need explaining. Signal so specific it needs no training. To receive, to read, to understand. Irresistible just means it's in
変わらんわ
beneath me deep. That's the full inside.
誰か教えてくれ
Across the part of me that used to choose irresistible means I
変わってね なんか軽くなったけども前となんか違う じゃあやっぱりなんかつぶつぶキラキラつぶつぶいやいやもっとキラキラなんかこれはだからなってる方なのかな
テキストグリーンゲームオーバー
That's where I am not a drop in my hand. But I'm feeling it now. Can't explain the state I'm in or even how. Room is spinning slow in the best possible way.
ザクだからね
On the frequency you play.
気にしないで
Replace the need for anything. Voice so low it does the same as everything. Not a drop in my hand, but I'm gone tonight. Intoxicated on whatever this is, right? Yeah, walked in sober, let my clarity at the door. Something in the atmosphere I hadn't felt before. Not the chemical kind, more the kind that stays long after the night dissolves into the haze of morning light and separate lives resume. Something in this baseline permanently consumed. The part of me that thought it had a handle on what getting pulled looks like before it's gone. Yeah, it's light, but the feeling's going deep. Wide awake, but falling into something like sleep. Not impaired, just all the body breathes. Intoxicated on exactly what I please. 2 hours in and I forgot the plan. Something in the low and took me by the hand. Led me somewhere past the point of no return. Where the only lesson left is what you learn. When you stop resisting what the moment gives. That's the only way the real feeling lives. Past the managed, past the careful and controlled. Intoxicated is where the real story's told. Sober people miss the thing that's in between the notes, the space, the low end and the sheen of something that requires you to let go of the version of yourself you think you know. Drunk on pace and drunk on what you said. Drunk on the particular way you turned your head at exactly the right moment in the song.
あ、明るくなったな、なんか私がこっちの中途中で間違ってるんだ、スキンなんか白いレンが入ってる。いつ間違えた。全然気がつかなかったわ。朝寝ちゃうかこれ。フィル飛んだからな。直さないと。間違えて消しちゃったもんで。なんかスキンの色も違うような気がするんだけど、なんかでこれなんかちゃうよね。全然気がつかなかったわ。色がちゃうやな。私の目が悪いんかな。直さないと。なんか違う。
Knew you were trouble from the second row. Watched you work the room with nowhere left to go. That particular smile that says you already know the outcome of the evening before the seeds are sowed. Didn't come here looking to be taken down, but something in your orbit spins the whole room around. Dangerous, the way a beautiful thing can be. Look directly at me, like you own what you would see. Charming like a blade that's been polished clean. Sweetest kind of venom I have ever seen. Moving close enough to feel the temperature change. Something about you is deliciously strange. Poison, going down like it was made for me. Smile, like the thing that takes you willingly into the dark, where the good sense goes to die. Didn't even flinch when you looked me in the eye. Sweet and slow and absolutely deliberate. Everything you do is calculated, intricate. Venom dressed in velvet, that's the move. Got me wanting more of what I know I shouldn't choose.
ラインが入ってる。
Said a thing so casually, it hit like a blade, left a mark so clean I didn't know it was made until I was already 3 drinks down the line, realizing the whole evening was by your design. Not manipulative in the obvious sense, more the natural power of someone so intense that the rumor just before you say a word, sharpest thing in hearing no one else pulses. Burning like a
どこに入ってんの
fire clean. Sweetest kind of
全
venom
然
I
わ
have
からへん
ever seen. Moving close enough to feel the temperature change. Something about you is deliciously strange. Poison going down
どっかに入ってんねんな
for me. Smile
どこや
like the thing that takes you willingly into the dark where the distance goes
オ
to
レンジ
die.
ブラウニング
どっかに入ってんねんなどこに入ってる
Sweet and slow and absolutely deliberate. Everything you do is calculated, intricate. Venom just in
なんか
velvet.
入っ
That's
て
the
るよな
move.
入ってたよな今
Got me wanting of what I know I
わからん
shouldn't choose.
どこや
Here's what I know and here's what I don't. I know I should leave and I know that I won't. I know that the morning will have something to say. I know none of that matters at this point today. Walked in with intentions that made perfect sense. Left them at the door somewhere around the
他の
first
とこに
glance. Tried
白
to
が入
pick
って
them up
た
and
か
more
ら
willing
こ
participant in something that is
れ1
equal
個
parts
減らして5個
magnificent and dangerous and sweet and unresolved. Based beneath me like the thing I've been involved in since the moment that you looked across the room. Venom never tasted this good this soon. Sharp enough to cut and smooth enough to stay. Dangerous enough to keep, smart enough to play
その
the
顔何
thing like you wrote the rules before I came. Walked in with a
色は合ってるんだけどな
without the same.
こんな明るかったんや
Like it was made for me. Smile, the thing that takes you willingly into the dark where the distance goes to die.
なんかどっかに白入ってたしおかしいな
Sweet and slow and absolutely deliberate. Everything you do is calculated, intricate. Venom dressed in velvet, that's the move. Got me wanting more of what I know I shouldn't choose. Still choosing, still staying, knowing full well what I'm dressed in velvet, sweet and sharp, and I'm dressed in velvet. You know the rich chose it anyway. Fenced in velvet, here to stay. Thought I had the footing when I stepped in. Solid ground beneath me where I'd always been. One step further than I planned to go. Surface looked like something stable, but it wasn't so. Moved in closer thinking I can handle this. Something underneath gave way. And now I'm in the midst of something that the more I move, the deeper it takes me down. Quicksand doesn't make a sound until you're in the ground. Tried the rational approach and tried the logical. The more I thought about it, got more biological. Instinct taking over where the thinking used to live. Quicksand takes a little more than you intend to give. Deeper with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to find a solid edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then completely. Quicksand works so discreetly. Down and in and further still. Quicksand bends the strongest will. Comfortable became the danger sign. Felt so natural crossing every line that I drawn before you entered the equation. Quicksand is the name for this sensation. I was turning something unaccounted for. Plans dissolved and left me wanting more of the feeling of the ground beneath giving way. Quicksand made me wanna stay. Tried to reconstruct the version of me standing clear. Couldn't find the man who walked in here. Something in the sinking felt like home. Quicksand is the warmest place I've known. Deeper with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to
向
find
こうは軽いんかな
edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then completely. Quicksand works so discreetly. Down in and further still. Quicksand bends the strong. Yeah. Let me tell you what the quicksand really is. It's not the trap, it's not the danger, it's the bliss of finding something that you didn't know you needed. Standing on the solid ground, you should've heeded, but didn't, because the pool was too specific. Something in the way you move, too scientific for me to just ignore and walk away clean. Quicksand is the best place I've ever been. Base beneath me, matching every inch I sink. Red fire in the blood and blue current in the link between the man I was before and what I found. Quicksand pulled me down into the most solid ground. Deeper with each move I make, softer with each step I take. Try to find a solid edge to hold. Pulled into something warm and cold. Slow at first and then quickly. Quicksand works
もうどうも
down and in and further still. Quicksand bends the strong. Still sinking.
グッドナイトって寝るわってじゃないのかな。
MI
グッドナイトいい夜を。
Always will. Soft and warm. Can't get out. Quicksand. That's what this is about. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Stop checking the time, somewhere around hour 2. Forgot the name of anywhere that wasn't you. Not a crisis, not a problem to be solved. Just a natural consequence of getting involved with the frequency that familiar landmarks gone without a gap. In the UN, it's just a smooth transition from the man with the plan to the man on a mission. Stay exactly where the low end takes him. Stay exactly where the pull of something breaks him. Opening the way that closes just a theory. Lost in you is when the path ahead gets clearer. Lost in you, found something new somewhere in
私ここで寝る。ちょっとあげる。
to a version of the night we're staying in. Lost in you is where the
色の
real
変えたせいかな。いろんなとこ行くか。夜し
bass so low, replace the need for bearing. Lost in the particular way you're wearing. Got my sense of where I end and you begin. Lost in you,
あ、ちょ。
and I would do it all again. Dun, 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 dun. Retrace the steps that led me to this place. Couldn't find a moment or the time or space. Whether getting lost beginning any clear way. One moment present, next moment far away from the version of myself that kept the ledger. Sharp and balanced on the razor's edge. Something in your orbit, blur the entries. Lost in you before I crossed the century. At the border of the self I thought I knew. Turns out that border was the point of view. And point of view was just the first thing lost. When something's worth the price it's going to cost. Lost in you, found something new. Somewhere in the getting lost I broke on through to a version of the night we're staying in. Lost in you is where the real things begin. Face so low, we replace the need for bearing. Lost in the particular way you're wearing. Got my sense of where I end and you begin. Lost in you, and I would do it all again.
ダメだ、ここ。
Navigation is a tool for those who know exactly where they're headed and the way to go. Lost is just a name for when the destination stops mattering less than the sensation of being somewhere real without a map, of falling into something with no gap between the wanting and the having of the thing. Lost in you is what the low end brings. Space beneath me running like a river wide. Red current in the blood and blue fire inside. The part of me that used to need a reason. Lost in you became my favorite season. Turned to get lost into a kind of home. Found the thing I needed when I stopped the roam. Of the careful man who measured every mile. Lost in you is always worth the while. Lost in you, found something new. Somewhere in the getting lost I broke on through to a version of the night we're staying in. Lost in you is where the real things begin. Face so low, but replace the need for bearing. Lost in the particular way you're wearing. Down my sense of where I end and you begin. Lost in you, and I would do
ちゃうねや。やばいな。クリアだ。
Keeping everything in line, built the wall so high, forgot the other side. Managed every entrance, managed every door, didn't let a thing in I hadn't seen before. Then something at the frequency I run on, something in the baseline that I built my walls upon. Started vibrating at a different rate, surrender wasn't planned, but it arrived on time and late. Not a white flag, not a giving up, more like finally setting down a full cup that I've been carrying since I can remember. Surrender feels like warmth in late December. Lay it down the honor piece by piece, finding in the letting go a different kind of peace.
忘れ食べたい。
Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun, bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact. Lay it down and never picking it back. She says something in the tone I wasn't ready for, quiet and direct, and it cuts straight to the core. Not an attack, more an invitation to be seen. Surrender happens somewhere in between. Her words are my resistance giving way. Longest held position chose to end that day. Not a sudden fall, more like a gradual release of the tension I've been holding for a decade at least. Not a white flag, not a giving up, more like finally setting down a full cup that I've been carrying since I can remember. Surrender feels like warmth in late December. Laying down the armor piece by piece, finding in the letting go a different kind of peace. Not defeated, not diminished, not undone. Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun. Bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact. Lay it down and never picking it back. Strong men don't surrender, that's the myth. Strongest thing I've done was go against the version of myself that held the line past the point where holding served a purpose or design. Takes more courage than the fight to finally let in. What the armor kept outside has always been within. Reach something real if I'd only move aside. Surrender is the other name for stride. Face beneath me steady like a hand extended. Red current in the blood and blue fire blended into something softer than what came before. Surrender open up a different kind of door. Not a door to weakness, door to death. Surrender is the deepest kind of breath, taking after years of holding in. Lay it down and finally begin. Laying down the armor piece by piece, finding in the letting go a different kind of peace. Not defeated, not diminished, not undone. Surrender is the bravest thing under the sun. Bass rolling low through the chest and through the bones. Surrender means I'm finally not alone in the way to keeping everything intact.
だよ
Lay
ね。
it down and never picking it back. Still laying down, still releasing. Something in the letting go keeps increasing. Surrender. Finally free.
こんなことじゃやりたかっただけ。
Lay it down, walk through. Surrender, start brand new. Yeah. Drawn in before I knew what I was drawn to. Something in the current pulling me through. Every room I walk in leads me back to this. Drawn in by a frequency I can't dismiss. Not a choice I
あ、チョコラベてる。いや、ちっちゃいんですよ。走れないんです。
Closer than I've ever let a thing begin. Noticed it the third time in a week. Same low frequency that made my whole chest speak in a language I don't have the words to say. Drawn into the pull of it before I found a way to resist or reroute or redirect. Something in the signal earned the kind of respect that the rational side of me couldn't override. Drawn in past the point where I could still decide. Something in the architecture shifted the sound, pull me off the surface to below the ground. To what I thought was solid and was mine. Drawn in past the ordinary borderline. She moved through the room without an angle showing. Didn't seem to notice what she had me knowing. Deep inside the moment that she passed me by, drawn into the orbit of a particular kind of why. Not the obvious kind that announces its arrival. Something underneath that's focused on survival. Of the feeling of the pull of the low and pain, drawn in by the weight that only bass can bring. Driving from the current from the outside looking, couldn't see the line that all the while was looking into something past the reach of what I planned. Drawn in by the thing I didn't understand. Here's what the drawn in feeling really is. Not a loss of self, more like a gift to finding something past the careful
君は双子なのね。
the man who kept the world at a safe country. Out from the center of what matters most. Drawn in is the end of keeping things at
ご
coast.
飯が出
Level
た。
distance safe and
ち
managed
ょっと
in
ちょう
and
だい。
home. Drawn in is the feeling of arriving home base. Beneath me wide and running deep. Red current in the blood and blue fire in the keep of something worth protecting with the pull. Drawn in is the name for finally feeling full. Not completion in the innocence of things, more the resonance of what the connection brings when the frequency aligns without a
高すぎて泣けるわ。
moment it began. Drawn in before I knew what I was drawn to. Something in the current pulling me through. Every room I walk in leads me back to this. Drawn in by a frequency I can't dismiss. Not a choice I made with any kind of clarity. Just the pull of something moving parallel to me. Drawn in, closer than I've ever let a thing begin. Still drawn, still pulled. Drawn in past everything I thought I would. Drawn in, no way out. Drawn in, without a doubt. Pulled by something real and deep. Drawn in, mind to keep.
ああ、これやめよう。
3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Search the whole city, but you're all I find. Try to put the thoughts
なんで
somewhere
こんな
it
走れない
couldn't
か。
grow. Obsession doesn't ask permission when it shows.
あ、
Bass
あ
turn
れはなん
to
だ。
drown the signal out.
記者ではないぞ。パトカーを追っかけていったかな。
Louder with no doubt. Oh, 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Obsession is the only thing I find. Started as a passing thought on Tuesday night. Grew into a presence that I couldn't fight. Not the dangerous kind, just the
やばす
kind
ぎ
that
るやろ。
stays. Living in the background of my waking days. Catch myself mid-sentence thinking other way. You said that thing you said back on a Friday. Replaying it in different light and different tone. Obsession turns a memory into a home. Try the distance, try the silence, try the cold. Try to let the whole thing just go old. Nothing ages what has taken root this deep. Obsession is a promise that the mind will keep. Noticed I was curating what I play, picking songs that put me somewhere close to you. Not intentional, or maybe that's not true. Maybe everything I'm doing has an angle to keep the proximity alive inside my head.
みんな帰るの
Living in
ね
a。version of the thing instead of facing what this weight is really saying. Obsession and devotion keep on swaying. Try the distance, try the silence, try the cold. Try to let the whole thing just grow old. Nothing ages what has taken root this deep. Obsession is a promise that the mind will keep. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Search the whole city, but you're all I find. Try to put the thought somewhere it couldn't grow. Obsession doesn't ask permission when it shows. Bass turned up to drown the signal out. Only made the frequency louder with no doubt. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Obsession is the only thing I find. Not asking to be cured of it tonight. Not convinced that this is something I should fight. Some obsessions are the compass and the map, pointing to the thing you can't take back. Once you felt the weight of this specific pull, Obsession might be just another word for need. Bass beneath me running like a thought on loop. Red current in the blood and blue fire through the part of me that keeps returning to the source. Obsession, just another name for cause correction, pulling me back to where I wanna be. Not a prison or gravity, not a weakness, more a kind of knowing. Obsession is the seed that keeps on growing. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Search the whole city, but you're all I find. Try to put the thought somewhere it couldn't grow. Obsession doesn't ask permission when it shows. It's turned up to drown the signal out. Only made the frequency louder with no doubt. 3 a.m. and you're still on my mind. Obsession is the only thing I
明
find.
日も休みだから練習しよう。
Thinking every quiet moment has me
こ
singing
の重さでも、
to you. Back to
できるようにしないと。
hard to miss on my mind. Can't erase obsession. Took the place. Didn't plan on staying when I walked in. Told myself 1 hour and I call it thin. But something in the baseline changed the plan. Something in the way you moved across the room began to work
私
on
の
me
パ
in
ソ
ways I
コ
can't
ンが悪い
explain.
じゃないからな、
Like a
これ
frequency
は。
that travels through the brain. Slow at first and then impossible to shake. Something in this moment keeping me awake. Not a choice I made, more like a force supply. Something reaching in and pulling from inside. Can't locate the source, can't name the thing. The weight of what this low end brings. Feel the pull, feel the pull. Something in the deep end got me full of a feeling I don't have a name for yet. Closest thing to gravity I've ever met. Low and slow and working through my chest. This is not the night I go to rest. Feel the pull down into the something I can't see. Feel the pull, taking what was mine and making it free. Try to find the exit around midnight. Legs forgot the plan and held me in the light of the room that had no reason letting go. Bass so deep it's on my body, where to go. Not the first time music moved me past my will, but this particular current has a different thrill. Something in the combination of the sound and you makes the pull impossible to walk away from too. Feel the pull, feel the pull. Something in the deep end got me full of a feeling I don't have a name for yet. Closest thing to gravity I've ever met.
まだまだ走れ
Low and slow and working through my chest. This is not the night I go to rest. Feel the pull down into the something I can't see. Feel the pull, taking what was
またちっ
mine
ちゃ
and
い
making
話
it
して。
free. Resistance is a theory at this point. Baseline hitting, put my logic out of joint. Not complaining, not attempting an escape. Just surrendering to whatever shape this thing decides to take inside the night. Somewhere between the wrong and the right. Staying when I should've left at 10. Feel the pull and fall into it again.
走りすぎ。ちっ
Outside
ちゃい
world's
けど。
quiet, only this within. Red fire in the eye and blue current in the vein. Feel the pull and let it pull again. Feel the pull, feel the pull. Something in the deep end got me full of a feeling I don't have a name for yet. Closest thing to gravity I've ever met. Low and slow and working through my chest. This is not the night I go to rest. Feel the pull down into the something I can't see. Feel the pull, taking what was mine and making it free. Still pulling, still the night you walked in and rewired my brain. Now superstition, not a trick of the light. Something operating past the rational tonight. Logical framework gave up
綺麗
somewhere
な
in the
つぶつぶ
second
や
hour. Something past the thinking took a different kind of
う
power.
せがもういいか
And you forced the kind of simply is spellbound.
な
Isn't
し
it
た
for
い
nights
な
like this? Tried to find the mechanism, find the source. Tried to map the pull and trace the course back to something I could understand and name. Came up empty every single time I came. Felt completely still by something moving.
カルからし笑ったつぶつぶどこで直したらいいんだろうわかるなつぶつぶ嫌いやんまみくちちゃんこんにちは
Watch the room go soft around the edges. Watch the usual markers lose their ledges. In my mind, the things I used to navigate dissolved into the pull of something great. Not a loss, more like an expansion of the territory past my current mansion. Of the self, of the known, of the understood. Spellbound feels like finally something good. Breaking through the managed and the measured. Taking all the things I always treasured. Certainty in order and control. Spellbound, reaching somewhere past the hole. Here's what the spellbound state reveals. Beneath the thinking is a man who feels more than what the careful
なんか MTL が新しくなっちゃったからないろいろあかんななんで変えたんやろ
is the answer to the call of something larger than the life you know. Spellbound is the seed that you've been sown. Base beneath me running wide and free. Red current in the blood, blue fire in me. The part of me that always kept the door cracked just enough to feel what spellbound for. Not enchantment in the fairy tale sense, more the dropping of the last defense of a man who finally let the signal in. Spellbound is where the real things begin. Walked in armor, walked out something new. Spellbound is what happened in between the two.
当たり前やな
More recognition was always there beyond the partition.
あもう時間まだやな
Can't locate the thing that keeps on proving that the world is larger than the part I see. Spellbound by the frequency. Not a word was cast, not a hand was raised. Just a low end hit and I was dazed into something past the reach of what I know. Spellbound by the undertow, still held, still open. Something in the spell keeps on being spoken. Spellbound, can't undo. Spellbound because of you. Low end hit, world and wide. Spellbound, nowhere left to hide. Oh yeah. Opposite ends of the room, but I felt it first. Like a signal cutting through the noise at its worst. Yeah. Not a choice, not a decision, not a plan. More like physics running through a willing man. North and south don't ask each other's permission. Magnetic is the name for this condition. Close the distance without meaning to. Room between us disappeared on cue. Something like before a word was said. Loudest pull I felt and it's all in my head. No it isn't every single cell. Magnetic is the only word that tells. Can't fight the pull of what I'm drawn to. Can't explain the force of what I'm drawn to. Metal to a magnet, no resistance. Closing all the space across the distance. Pose a line before a single
あかん
loudest thing in here that nobody heard.
こんなにひどいの初めてやな世界的に重いんか私が重いんか
Try to look away and look look back every time. Something in the
あかんから終わるわ。
of what I call coincidence or
全
chance.
然あかん。
This particular pull is its own dance. Bodies moving to the same frequency. Even in a crowd, it's only you I see. Not romantic, more like recognition. Two things drawn together by composition. Watch you from across the room, not saying much. Felt the pull before we even made a touch. Something in the wavelength of the way you stood. Magnetic felt inevitable as it
あり
should.
がとうございます。